Hey Spiritual Sisters, I'm Crystal from spirituallysexylife.com. I'm a certified hypnotist and integrative healing coach from Central Illinois, and I'm here to help you heal your body, mind, and spirit to get in alignment with the life you really want. Today we're going to be talking about the different ways of eating. So there's three basic ways that we eat. There's instinctive eating, intuitive eating, and structured eating, okay? And I'm not talking about the intuitive and instinctive diet plans, as those are still more of those are kind of like a combination between instinctive eating and structured eating. But we'll cover the differences so then you can kind of see. So instinctive eating is, your instinct is, I'm hungry, I'm going to go eat this food, okay? That's your basic instinct. There's a trigger and an immediate response. Now, for a lot of us, with how we've learned to eat and we've learned all these rules around eating, we've learned dysfunctional ways of relating to food. So our instincts are off. So like, you'll get this craving for something and you'll be like, I need chocolate, okay? And that's your instinct. That's your instinct telling you, I need this. This is, I'm hungry. Your body needs a certain nutrient, and the instinct is, this is what my mind has learned or what my body has learned that has this nutrient that I need, which is typically magnesium if you're craving chocolate. There's other things, but a lot of times it's magnesium. And so your brain goes, let's go get chocolate. And so then instinctively, that's what you crave, that's what you go eat. That's instinctive eating. Okay. Now, structured eating is like your different diet plans where you eat this and this and this, or you eat at this time and this amount and this thing. It's very, like it says, structured. And it's a specific plan of eating so that you get your nutrients and you only eat a certain amount. And there's a variety of different diet plans, and they all fit under the structured eating method, okay? Now, intuitive eating is where your instinct says, I'm hungry, okay? And it says, I need this, right? Your instinct says, I want chocolate, okay? Because it's looking for that magnesium. And again, this is just an example. There's a variety of things that you might crave that have different nutrients that your body needs, but this is just the example that I'm using right now. So your body says, I'm hungry, I need chocolate. So you look at this craving and you say, okay, this is my instinct that I need chocolate. But my intuition tells me that that's likely not what I need. My intuition says that there's a healthier option that I'm looking for. So it could be, I need magnesium, so I'm going to eat some nuts. Or I need, my blood sugar is low, so I need something to get that up. And there's a lot of different things that can be triggered and trigger those instincts. And you kind of got to use your intuition to determine and learn how your body works and what it is that you're missing. So like, let's say that you're craving that chocolate and you go get something like some nuts instead of the chocolate, and that satiates your hunger and that craving. So that tells you that whatever's in that nut, that's what you're actually craving when you're craving chocolate, as opposed to what your instinct is, okay? So I'm going to talk a little bit about the instinctive and intuitive diets, because they're both kind of the same thing. Like, you're listening to your body and eating what your body tells you to. And that is technically correct, but for people who have learned dysfunctional rules around food, or their bodies have learned to crave the unhealthy things over the healthy things, that's not going to help them either. The definition of instinct is there's a trigger, and your reaction immediately is your instinct. That's your instinct to counter that trigger. What you typically do in that situation when you get triggered in that way. Now, with intuition, the definition of intuition is that you are listening to what your body tells you and using your consciousness to discern. So there's a thought process behind intuition, and there's no thought process behind instinctive. So a lot of times what they're teaching in intuitive eating is they're teaching actually instinctive eating, or a structured form of instinctive eating. So in the diet plans with instinctive and intuitive eating, you're still getting that instinct, but they've given you a structure to work within, and they're saying, listen to your body and what your body tells you. But if your body has learned dysfunctional eating habits, it's going to tell you the wrong things. So that's where you have to use your discernment and your conscious thought process to determine what it is that you're actually craving, what it is that your instinct is actually telling you. Okay? With structured eating, we get a lot of different diet plans that they each have their own theory and everything, and some of them focus on eating healthy food. Some of them focus on cutting out certain macros and reinforcing other macros. And macros are like your ratios of like fat to protein to carbohydrate. And then some of them focus on the different types, which all of them have their benefits and everything. And one might work for you and not work for another person. And one might work for someone else, but not for you, because everybody's bodies are different, and we all operate differently, and we all have different cultures that we're raised in, and we all have different ways that we have learned to relate to food. So when you're trying to do these structured diet plans, a lot of times they fail because your brain and your body have been trained to look at food differently. And if you're not dealing with that, if you're not fixing that, then you're going to fail on that diet. Like it's just not going to work for you. You're going to eventually have a trigger that says, my instinct says this is wrong. I'm not going to do it anymore. Your instinct is going to say, I need this fatty food, or I need this carbohydrate. And you're not going to follow that plan. And a lot of the plans really, they have unhealthy things about them. So, for example, the keto diet plan, right? That's not meant to be a long-term diet plan. It was designed for people with developmental and behavioral issues in their brains, because it gives them the fatty acids that they're missing. That was something that they determined that those kids were missing. They needed more of those fats in order to have proper brain functioning. And then they also noticed, oh, hey, you can lose weight doing this too. But the problem with it is that long term it can cause damage to your kidneys, and you'll end up with protein in your urine, and it's very bad for your body. It's very disordered eating for a long-term plan. But short-term, for weight loss, it can be very effective. You just don't want to stay on it long-term. And there's a lot of others, like paleo focuses on the idea that if it's not natural, if it wasn't available to our ancestors in caveman times, then we shouldn't be eating it, which limits you to like basically you're eating fruits and vegetables and meat, and that's pretty much it. No grains, no anything, which can be healthier, but you also might be missing nutrients. You can make them up in other places and in other ways, and it's like that with most diets. You can find ways to make up what you're missing, but it takes a lot of education in order to be able to do that, and a lot of figuring things out. And a lot of times your instinct is going to say, we're missing this vitamin, we're missing this nutrient, we're missing this mineral, and we're going to go crave the thing that's not healthy for us and doesn't fit in the diet plan. And then we go and we eat it, and then we feel guilty that we messed up on our diet, and we keep doing it because we're still missing that nutrient that we're needing in our diet. So then we keep failing and we keep messing up. So then eventually we give up. We think that, I can't do this. So with a lot of diets, that does happen with structured eating. And there's a lot of different examples. The best structured diet plan, in my personal opinion, is Mediterranean. But even then, for different people who have been raised differently, it might not be the best for them. So you have to figure out what works for you personally to eat. And that's why intuitive eating, actual intuitive eating, is typically what's best for majority of people. Because we have learned not to trust our bodies. We have learned to follow the rules with eating. And we have learned that, when our bodies have been trained to expect certain minerals from certain places, that's going to be our go-to. So you have to learn and to listen to your body, and then think about what is it actually trying to tell you, so that you can go get those nutrients that you're craving and that you need. And you can do this while on a structured diet plan. Pretty much all diet plans are in some way structured. They have some sort of rules and things like that. But you can do it without the structure or with the structure. You just don't want to go to that instinctive eating where you're just eating what your instinct says to eat. Because with that, you're always going to eat whatever's available to you that's you've learned is giving you what you need. You're always going to resort to what you've been trained to eat instinctively, instead of using your intuition to go, okay, instinctively, I want this, but really what I need is this. And that, in my opinion, is the best diet plan that anyone can follow, is listening to themselves and thinking about what your body is trying to tell you, as opposed to following someone else's plan that they determined based upon what their body was telling them, or based upon this idea that everyone is the same and loses weight the same way, that this diet plan is going to be magic, and as long as you stick to the rules, then you're going to lose all this weight, right? That's rarely going to work for most people. That's why we have so many people that are like, I'm trying this diet this week, and I'm trying this diet this week, and we get stuck. It's like a form of disordered eating in itself to be on a diet plan, honestly, because you're relying on someone outside of yourself to tell you this is what your body needs, but your body is different from theirs, and your body is different from everyone else's. We all have the same basic chemistry and the same basic needs, but we're all genetically different. We all have different body designs. We all have different body types. We all have different needs, specifically when you break it down. Because someone with a higher metabolism can eat more food and be super skinny. And someone with a lower metabolism will eat a lot of food and they'll gain weight. So you can't listen to what a structured diet plan is telling you, because it's not designed specifically for you, for your body. It's not, your body is your best barometer for determining what's best for you. Thanks for listening, guys. You can find me here at Anchor FM on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, or you can visit my website at spirituallysexylife.com.